In today's video, I want to share with you guys some fall soups, and we are going to be putting them all into that crock pot. I love making crock pot meals. You guys know that. They are so fast and easy and just so delicious meals. I love putting things in a slow cooker, and it just makes my life so much easier. So let's go ahead and get started making some really good fall crock pot soups. The first thing we're going to be making is a chicken tortellini soup. I'm going to go ahead and spray my crock pot, and I'm going to put about 2 to 2.5 pounds of chicken breast at the very bottom. Next, I'm going to add 6 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to add half of an onion that I had diced up, 1 cup of chopped up celery, and then about 3 carrots that I went ahead and diced up, 2 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of thyme. Go ahead and put the lid on and let that cook on a high heat for about 4 hours. In a bowl or measuring cup, we're going to put in 2 cups of milk, or you can do half and half. And then we're also going to put in 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. I have 4 tablespoons of flour. We're going to go ahead and mix that up in with your milk, getting that well combined, and then just set that off to the side. Now that everything's done cooking in our crock pot, it's been cooking on high for about 4 hours. I'm just going to use my meat masher and go ahead and shred up your chicken, or you can take out your chicken and shred it that way. Once the chicken's been shredded, we're going to go ahead and pour in that milk mixture right into our crock pot. We're just going to give that a good stir, getting that well combined and just letting all of that thicken up just a little bit. If it's not to the thickness that you desire, you can always do a cornstarch slurry, and that'll thicken it up as well. Now we have this bag of tortellini. It's just a cheese tortellini. You guys can use whatever type of tortellini that you guys prefer. And then we're just going to throw that in there, and we're going to let that cook on a high heat for about 20 minutes. And then that tortellini should be done cooking. And then I just topped it with some salt and pepper. Guys, this is very delicious. And mine is a little bit more on the runny side, so if you like it thicker, definitely thicken it up. Such a delicious meal. This was my favorite meal out of everything that we made in this video. My soul. If you don't make anything, make this potato soup. So delicious. 2 pounds of diced up potatoes that are already frozen. I'm going to put just about half a cup of chicken broth, 1 whole onion that I went ahead and diced up, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and then 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. And then I ended up using 2 cans of evaporated milk. I love using evaporated milk with potato soup. It makes it taste so delicious. There's so much flavor in the evaporated milk. So definitely, if you can, add the 2 cans of evaporated milk. Go ahead and put the lid on. Let that cook on a high heat for about 4 hours. Seriously, so easy. You cannot get any easier than this. It is so creamy. So delicious. My kids were astounded how delicious this was. My son was like eating so many bowls. I love to top a little bit of bacon on top of it just to add a little bit more of a flavor to it. Oh my soul, so good. Definitely a must try. Next is going to be creamy chicken tortilla soup. I love a good chicken tortilla soup. To our crock pot, we are going to put 2 pounds of chicken breast at the very bottom, 1 teaspoon of cumin just right on top of our chicken. And then I have 1 packet of taco seasoning we're going to go ahead and put on top of our chicken as well. I have a whole onion we're going to go ahead and throw in there. I did go ahead and dice that up pretty fine like. 1 can of Rotel. 1 can of corn, and it does not have to be drained. You can leave the juice in there. 1 can of black beans that have already been rinsed off. 1 can of, you can do jalapeno peppers or you can just do green chilies. This did make it a little bit more on the spicy side, so do keep that in mind. And then I'm going to put in 6 cups of chicken broth. About a tablespoon of minced garlic. And then I have 1/8 of a cup here of tomato paste that I'm just going to throw in there. All right, go ahead and put the lid on, and I let this cook on a high heat for about 5 hours. I went ahead and took my meat masher and just trying to shred up that chicken. You can definitely take it out. I just find it easier to do it this way, and it saves on doing dishes. Next, I'm going to add 1 block of cream cheese. Also 1 cup of Mexican cheese. Go ahead and give that a good stir. And then just let that cook for another 10 to 15 minutes until all your cheeses have been cooked through and they are nice and melted. And this is what it looks like. Please serve this with tortilla chips. It just enhances it so much. I think my husband ate every bite of this with tortilla chips, but having some chips and salsa on the side is going to make this meal so delicious. Next is sausage tortellini soup. We're going to take our crock pot. You can go ahead and grease it. We're just going to throw this Italian sausage at the very bottom once you have cooked it thoroughly. Next, we're going to add 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and I do suggest doing like the petite ones, not these big ones. And then go ahead and add in 1 block of cream cheese. And then you're going to add in 4 cups of chicken broth, and then just let that cook on a low heat for about 4 hours. Once it's done cooking, go ahead and give that a really good stir, getting that cream cheese mixed through properly, nice and melted. And if you're not using Philadelphia cream cheese, your cream cheese is going to be a little bit spotty like this, and it's totally fine. Just try to get it mixed through the best that you can. We're also going to add 1 cup of frozen spinach and then a whole bag of that cheese tortellini. And then I just kind of like to make sure my tortellini is covered in that juice. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on and let that cook for another 20 to 30 minutes on a high heat. This is what it's going to look like after it's done. My family really enjoyed this one. They liked it better than the chicken tortellini that we had made. This one was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. If you want to make this like a low carb option, you can take away the tortellini and maybe just add in some type of squash or zucchini. I think that would be delicious too. This meal was very, very good. Next, we have chicken taco soup. So to our crock pot, we're going to go ahead and lightly grease that if you'd like. I have about 4 cups of shredded up chicken I'm going to add, or you can add about 2 pounds of chicken breasts that have not been cooked. Go ahead and put 1 package of taco seasoning right on top of the chicken, and then half a teaspoon of garlic salt, 2 cups of chicken broth, half a cup of diced up onion, and then 1 can of black beans that I have already rinsed off, 1 can of corn, and like before, you do not have to drain off any of that juice, 1 can of Rotel, and then I just spread that all out. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to let that cook on a low heat for about 2 to 3 hours. Go ahead and put 1 block of cream cheese right on top of that and just let that cook for about another 30 minutes. After that, your soup should be absolutely phenomenal. If you are cooking with raw chicken, do make sure that you cook that on a high heat for about 4 to 5 hours. This had so much flavor, and then of course I like to serve it with some tortilla chips. And for the last one, I made one of my favorite soups of all time. I love making a chicken and wild rice, and this one hits the spot. It is very thick and creamy. I love it. You're going to add 2 chicken breasts, so about 2 pounds of chicken breasts, 1.5 pounds to 2, depending on how much chicken that you like in this meal. I diced up about 3 carrots, 1 onion, 1 cup of celery, which is about 3 stalks of celery, 4 cups of beef broth, and then 2 cups of water. We're going to add 1 cup of wild rice, 2 teaspoons of parsley, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, and then 2 teaspoons of pepper, and then put the lid on. Let that cook on a high heat for about 6 hours. You definitely want to make sure that that chicken is going to be nice and tender, and that rice should soak up in that liquid. Go ahead and take out your chicken and just shred that up. Once it's shredded, then we're going to just set that to the side. We need 4 tablespoons of butter that we're going to go ahead and melt in our saucepan, along with 1/4 cup of flour, and just go ahead and give that a good stir. I'm going to add 2 cups of milk, and then we're just going to go ahead and stir that up until it is nice and thick. We're wanting to create a really good thick and creamy roux. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add that to our crock pot. We're also going to add our chicken back in there as well, and it will not take long for all of that to thicken up. This comes out to be so delicious, so thick and creamy. You guys are going to want to make this over and over again. It is that good. I love to serve this with like some homemade bread, or even just a store-bought bread would be fantastic with it. You can serve this with a salad as well. You guys will want this on the rotation. It's so easy to do in the crock pot. Absolutely phenomenal. You and your family are going to love it. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoy it. If you enjoy fall time or crockpot meals or both of them, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. Consider subscribing below if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.